Well, good morning. My name is Evan Trading. I'm from Senior Fit, and I simplify complex ideas to empower leaders to maximize their potential. And a little bit about me: we started Senior Fit in 2009, and it was a very similar season. In 2009, we had the similar struggle of the real estate market crashing, and a lot of people had to reinvent themselves, and I was one of those individuals. And since then, we've been able to build the company completely debt-free. In 2017, we were awarded Fitness Business of the Year for North America. So that was a pretty cool honor, both in US and Canada. And then we're nominated for Small Business of the Year by the Chamber in 2017 and 18. This year, before all this COVID, we were actually awarded Delaware's Veteran Business Owner of the Year by the Small Business Administration. So we're really excited about some of those things. I do sit on the executive board for the Chamber, heading up the Military Affairs Committee, as well as on the advisory board for the College of Health and Behavioral Sciences at Del State University. In addition, I'm also an elder and minister at my church, Crossroad Christian Church here in Dover, Delaware. So I always like to, share a little about who I am and, a little bit about me. Anybody knows me, I'm really big into my core values. One is my faith. The other one is my family. Of course, fitness, we're in the fitness industry. Finances, freedom, I was able to serve in the Air Force for 6 years and deployed several times with that, and then empowering others, but my greatest accolade is that I was able to convince this super hot lady to stay married to me for 18 plus years now. So I'm really excited about that. Which is pretty exciting, which is cool. So my story though, 2008 happened. I had to reinvent myself, and I struggled with weight. And, even when I was in the military before that, I was on what's called a Fat Boy program. And I had to figure out a way to change because the market had changed. I was selling modular manufactured homes, and the company I worked for went out of business. So I actually used that as an opportunity to get some mentorship. I lost weight myself. Actually did a men's physique competition, was able to place in the top 5 with that. So I got a piece of medal for that and launched my fitness business a little bit before that. And one thing that you'll notice in business consistently is that changes will happen. So we literally launched the business out of our bed, out of my bedroom, out of my living room and Doc Olson's basement. And then I wound up subleasing from him for a couple of years. There was a chiropractor's office that we were working out of in Middletown as well. So we had a Dover Middletown office. And then, each year we had, some level of change that happened. And I bring this up because all businesses, that's the constant, is change. In 2018, we started subleasing from Miss Pillion Fitness, and by the end of that year, they closed, and we had to open up our own site here in Milford. And then now in 2019 and 2020, we're in Milford, Dover, and Dover Air Force Base. So, we're in this unique environment, as we've heard hundreds of times already, that it's unprecedented times, and, we have to adjust. One thing that is constant in business is change. If you don't like change, you should not be in business, because that's something that's always going to change. And our ability to adapt to that is going to be critical when we look at our success. But we know that business is not an emotional sport. It's a mental sport. And if we look at it that way, it's about, okay, what do I do now that the market has shifted, or now that, different things has happened? How I handle that's really important. But as an owner and a business leader, we're not only responsible for how do others think about our business, but we're responsible for, how our staff and our clients and how we're thinking about our business in this time frame as well. So we know COVID has totally changed the way we do business, and that's for every industry. Every college I talk to, 100% online. Every company is finding a way to deliver to your front door. People who are technologically averse is on Zoom and FaceTime and all kinds of other things to find ways to connect with their loved ones. So it's totally changed the way we do business, and our ability to survive and thrive is predicated on our ability to adapt in this new world. I personally believe that after all this, we're going to talk about post-COVID-19, just like we talked about post-9/11, post-World War II, post-Depression. And we have to accept that there's this pre-COVID world, and now there's this post-COVID world. An example of changing the way and affecting the way our clients think about us. This is a testimonial here from one of our clients, Lynn Common. She says, with everything that's going on right now, it's more important to even take care of ourselves and stay healthy so that we can fight off illness. With gyms and even private studios like where I go closed down, it makes it even harder to get the workouts done. Senior Fit, where I work out, has gone above and beyond, offering remote training and even supply the tools you need to for the remote training. Evans is amazing, and I'm so happy that he figured out a way for personal training to continue while we're being isolated at home. And of course, still getting metabolic coaching. And when this is all said and done, summer will be here, and there's still her summer body will be ready. So we know that life is going to happen regardless, and we have to pivot and communicate well with that. But as business owners, before we're a business owner, we're a human being. And it's very normal right now to experience a measure of depression or grief that's tied to this whole event. Now, unlike World War II, our loved ones are not being drafted to go overseas and get bombed at. But, it is normal to experience a measure of grief because the life that we knew, the innocence that we knew, that someone sneezed and we didn't really freak out 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks from now, someone sneezes and we kind of flinch a little bit, so that life that we knew before, how we engage, is gone. And it's totally normal. And we have to accept that normalcy exists for us, that we may experience a little bit of grief during that time, or during, this time as we go through it. Grief has like 4 stages I'm going to cover really quick. And this is important that we get our mind around this as entrepreneurs and business leaders. But the first phase is denial. I know I went through it. They said, oh, this COVID-19 or the coronavirus. And I was cracking jokes about Heineken and other things because it's, I didn't accept the reality of it. Oh, it's in China. It's not going to come to America. Oh, it's in California. It's not going to come to Delaware. Nothing comes to Delaware. Snowstorms don't come to Delaware. So it's not going to come to Delaware. And then, wow, it's in Delaware. So you go through this first phase of denial, and then we start bargaining. Well, it's only going to last a couple of weeks. We should be back to normal. And we're constantly trying to find a way to get back to normal. But the reality is that the normal on the other side of this is a new norm. There is no back to pre-COVID normal. It's all post-COVID normal. How we engage with each other is going to be completely different. So we're still bargaining at times with that. Maybe it'll just last a little bit. Hopefully we'll be, at this set date, automatically, we're just going to go back to our pre-mind conditions. Then we may experience a measure of sadness. It's the first phase. It's a third phase, excuse me. It's I'm kind of feeling sad right now that I'm not able to see my loved ones, and this is a grief that can be tied to anything. I'm just relating it specifically to the COVID situation. And then after that, we go to acceptance, and is when we reach acceptance, when we're really able to start moving forward, and for everyone, the grieving process may be different, but as entrepreneurs and business leaders, it's imperative as a leader today that we move as aggressively as we can towards acceptance and help others do the same. So it's okay to feel all the phases, but we just got to get to acceptance. And we have to accept that this is here, that our world has changed, and it's going to be different from now forward. We're going to tell our grandchildren about a time when you just meet a stranger and shake hands and give them a quick hug, where it may take a while for us to get there if we ever get there again. So, as a business owner, though, some of the things that we might have thought about when we launched our business, or questions that we should have asked if we haven't, were things like, what are my key performance indicators? And I'll cover all these this morning. Have I established my target market, and who is that target market? Do I know my numbers, or what are the numbers I should be looking at? Did I complete a SWOT analysis and look at the strengths and weaknesses, the opportunities and the threats that are in the marketplace? What resources do I have available to me, and do I have relationships that can help me leverage this time? And just like in the launch of many of our companies, these were questions that we should have and hopefully did ask ourselves and got answers. In this time frame, these are questions we have to go back to and ask them all over again. This COVID situation is more than a health implication. It's affected every single market, unlike anything has happened in American history. So it's an amazing time frame. So when we look at key performance indicators, that gives us the idea of knowing what to measure, what those measurements mean, and then what should we do about these measurements. Therefore we can protect our business and move forward. So 4 questions that kind of get you thinking a little bit about, what should I measure is, are my employees engaged? Are they productive, delivering results, and excited about the future? That's a key performance indicator. There's the greatest asset that you have in your company is your staff. And even if your staff is just you, that's your greatest asset. So are you engaged, in there? Do your customers love and appreciate and or referring you right now? And you're seeing every company, if you look at TV and the commercials, every company is finding a way to show that they're still alive and they can still provide you value. But how are they feeling about you right now? Do you have a healthy operations and disciplines that you can scale for the future? The beautiful thing about this time frame is a great time for many of us to sit back and go, how do we do things? And are we doing the things we need to do well enough to reach our ultimate goals? And the 4th question is, do we have the right products, right service offerings, right marketing, sales strategies to support, our current and then our future revenue goals? And I'll talk about a little bit about the mindset that we can take, towards some of these things. So things that the key performance indicators do, it shows us our health, in different categories. It shows us, what we should be measuring and what those measurements look like. It shows us, what adjustments we should make to get on track or to stay on track with our set goals. And it helps us solve problems because the data can reveal things. We can look at something like a net performance score, or next promoter score, NPS score, and see how do our clients feel about us. Are they fired up or are they not? And what are some opportunities? We can look at things and see, is the processes that it takes for me to deliver an outcome taking too long? And if it is, what can I do to streamline that? Do I have too many defects? All these things are things that can show. And then lastly, we can look at patterns over time. The one good thing about human beings is that we're constant. So there are needs and behaviors that are consistent throughout every marketplace. And then we can look at what are those historical trends and how do we pivot based on those things. So we talked about the KPIs. The other thing is, who are you serving? Who do you want to work with? Who do you like to work with? What problems do you like to solve? And, what methods are you strong at delivering value to your clients? Because our compensation is in direct correlation with the value that we deliver. So what methods are you really good at delivering value? Where do your clients live or work? Where are they? What are their goals or desires? So for us, and then lastly, what does success look like for them? I'll use this as a way to kind of share, how do we look at this, right? So who do we like to work with? At Senior Fit, we like to work with busy professionals. Now, I can train kids, I can train, someone who's 20 years old, but the reality is that they don't respect time the same way we respect time. And the clients we like to work to, time is a precious commodity. The problem we like to solve is the fitness challenge, right? Whether it's feeling overweight or lack of energy or not fitting their clothes well or defeated or, tied to that. We love helping people win in these different areas. The methods in which we're strongest at delivering values are semi-private one-on-one training and our nutritional coaching. Our clients live or work within 7 miles of our locations. Now we have some online clients. I have a client in Washington State, but most of our clients live, in Kent County, or work in Kent County. What are their goals and desires, right? They want to, fit their clothes better. They want to increase their energy. They want to increase their confidence. That's what our clients want. What does success look like to them, right? Success is not looking great in a bikini for most of our clients. Most of our clients' success is looking good in a nice gown to go out or shopping in their own closet. So it's very different in every marketplace. And it's important that you understand that so you can communicate, well to your customers. After you identified your target market, we got to know our numbers, right? And I'm not going to break down all these. If you have a good relationship with an accountant, it's a great time to have these conversations, but we have to look at what are our margins, what is our cost of goods sold? What's our top line revenue, or total revenue? How much does it cost for us to acquire clients? What are our profits? What are our expenses? And what is the average client value, which kind of gives us an idea how many clients we need to meet our goals. So knowing these numbers are critical in helping us, shift forward. So we're now experiencing COVID-19, and as we go through, we're going to be in the post-COVID-19 world, and how we reinvent ourselves is going to indicate how, like what we look like in the future, because we all have to do that. And the first thing is we have to deal with ourselves. We have to take the time to get our own head right. And we have to understand that, we're humans and we're going through these different phases of grief, but we have to get to acceptance. We have to understand that even the goals we might have set in 2019 may have to change based on this unexpected pivot in the marketplace, and how we adjust those goals are critical. Because if we have all the same goals as 2019, but our opportunities are not the same and our ability to leverage it and our understanding of our clients are different, then the only thing we can do is stress out ourselves and the people that we're working with. So we got to get our head right. And then we have to define a plan of action to support our existing clients first and protect the business. So the chamber has done a phenomenal job at, connecting us with resources to protect the business, anywhere from all different loan programs and everything that's available, legislation and conversations with our legislators on opportunities to protect our business, not just now in the immediacy, but also long-term in there. But then also we have to support our current existing clients before we go to acquire new clients, because the needs of our current clients are different. So just kind of give you an idea of what we did. We realized this happened. We said, hey, we're going to go to remote training. We use Zoom just like we're on right now. And we're able to train our clients in their different atmosphere. Jennifer Newman says, hey, I'm impressed with the quickness to adapt and be flexible with the changes and still be able to keep everyone on track with their fitness goals during this time. For some people, we let them borrow equipment so they can train at home. As you can see here, her dogs got involved in the training process, which is kind of cool. We sent our clients the workouts in advance so they were prepared for what they were going to do in each individual sessions. And literally now, the camera on your iPad or phone became our eyes, because the 90% of what we did when we re-looked at how we serve our clients wasn't tied to a building. It was tied to us being able to see their movement patterns and help them and encourage them through that experience. So that's what we did, and it's been phenomenal. Even so that here, Marvin says, hey, thanks Alexis for another great workout. I was very concerned when I could no longer work out at the gym due to the virus situation. I truly appreciate seeing you making a way to allow me to continue to work out and keep me on track to achieve my goals. Love remote workouts. So once you find a way to serve your clients excellently, then now you can use that way to acquire and identify opportunities to support both your community and your future clients. So that's how we pivot to move forward in there. One of the things we did was we started looking at future and current clients and support is we literally created a remote training kit. We sent out every one of our clients, we just mailed it to their home, a tripod and with a stand to hold their phone, as well as a connector to hold a tablet. For those that didn't have tablets, we bought them tablets and sent it to them. Because when we looked at the value of our clients and the ability to sustain a business, we realized if we don't fulfill that need, then we're not even available to be in business. So those are some things that we were able to do to pivot in there. And clients were still able to get in, pretty good workouts in there. Sherry said, another awesome workout today. Thank you, Senior Fit, for helping me to keep the drive going while staying at home. In this crazy, in a world's gone crazy, you guys really care about our health, mental and physical. So how do we get our head right? How do we do these things? We talked about business being an intellectual sport, and if we're operating our business from our emotions, we're going to get slammed. We're going to be one of the businesses that close. In my industry, I can't tell you how many gyms I've heard of in the last 6 weeks go out of business. And the reason why a lot of times is because owners are not thinking like a business owner. They're just emotionally responding to that. So when you look at how do you feel, one of the biggest things we realize is the people that are succeeding today are watching less news than the people who are not. I got to control the variable. I got to allow my brain to take a moment to kind of refresh. So I have an idea what's going on, and I'm current, and I pay attention to, and I'm aware, but I try not to overload my system with that stuff. Then once you figure out your self-assessment, how's your team doing? How are they doing mentally, emotionally, physically? What's going on in their world? Just because they show up to work and they may have enthusiasm during the calls or during that, we have to understand that this external factor has impacted their capacity, and what they're able to accomplish in this time frame may take a hit in the beginning, until they get through the acceptance phase. So what support systems are we putting together to do that? Similarly, our clients, we've seen some businesses downtown who were only like selling clothes are now selling clothes online, finding new and creative ways to serve their clients. And then what skills and resources do you need to support them? And we spend a lot of energy with this here at my company, talking about the well and the library. The library has to do with your skill set. So do you need to learn a new hard skill, like how to use Zoom or how to use other technologies? So, I'm watching my wife as a school teacher, how their entire environment has shifted to online training. And I think even the kindergartners are finding ways to plug in and go to school online. So there's some technical library stuff that we need to know to support our clients. And then the well has to deal with the soft skills, the emotional intelligence, the empathy, the understanding of where people are. We have to grow up bandwidth and understand that, hey, everyone's dealing with change a little bit different. So the grace that we allow, has to expand during this time to support them, through it. So, as we're assessing now and we go, okay, cool, I got my head right, I'm ready to go. I got to do a SWOT analysis. I got to figure out what are our strengths, what are we really good at, and then what are our weaknesses? What do we have some opportunities with? So what are our strengths and weaknesses? Those are all internal. And then what are the opportunities in the marketplace? They say that in every calamity or bad event, there is a seed of equal or greater opportunity. So in this moment, what are the opportunities that your market needs? Whether you're in education, what are the opportunities? You know what this tells you? It tells you that the whole world can do online education. And if I'm in education now, I can reach into multiple different markets to serve clients that maybe I may only be limited to local business. So what opportunities are out there? Is there a unique way? I was talking to my barber and I was like, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, we'll just wait till everything opens up. And I go, well, what if that's 3 months from now? We don't know when this solution is going to come. And, we start talking about, hey, an opportunity may be for you to jump on a Zoom with somebody at discount cost and walk them through cutting their child or their relative's hair. I would have paid for it. So it's who knows what the world will look like, but there's going to be tons of opportunities that launch out of this season. And then lastly, what are your threats? What are your competitors? What are your threats in the marketplace? And how do you defend against them? And some of those could be as little as ensuring you have cash flow available to hold you over, because we know in business, cash is king. So once you complete that, we want to look at what resources do you have access to give you a strategic advantage. The ability to separate yourself is going to determine your ability to be an industry leader coming out of here. And COVID has pressed the reset button. So are you connected with powerful resources that can do the things that you don't have to do? So the chamber member, I know that connected to the chamber is out there, having the legislative conversations so I can focus on growing my business. They're aware on what loan opportunities and what's going on with this and the IDL and the payroll protection plan and all these different pieces. I'm getting data on how to manage my business, whether it's networking opportunities and marketing opportunities, or it's legislative opportunities or education opportunities. These networks help you leverage yourself big time. And then here's some other resources you need. You need a good attorney. I only can post about the attorney that I use, but there's tons of great business attorneys out there. And do you have a good attorney? Do you have a good accountant or accounting firm? So you can understand the numbers that we talk about. And if you have an accountant, you should have a relationship with them that they're doing more than just your taxes. Meaning on a regular basis, you should be looking over those numbers at least quarterly to see what are the numbers saying and what some things you should do a little bit different. And then lastly, do you have a good relationship with a banker? Not just do I deposit my money there, but I would spend the time and energy, the branch manager or the vice president or the CEO of your local bank. Therefore, you can, leverage those opportunities and move further ahead as things like this come up. So we need to have these resources and we need to have these relationships to help us. So, wrapping up, we know that technology is going to be different. And the question we'd ask ourselves as entrepreneurs as we're building this new business in this new world is what is the technological impact, and what opportunities that COVID provide? Like, we're all working remote right now, and we're all providing services remote. Is this a part of a new model for your business? Could you acquire great staff members that are not even in the state or anywhere local? Because right now, all your staff is working remotely. So where's the best talent, and how's recruiting, and what does that look like post COVID-19? Do you do a delivery service? Every company is delivering to your front door. It's amazing. So how do you do that in today's world? You may decrease the footprint that you need because you're warehousing more and delivering more depending on the product or service. Do you provide a curbside service, or, what new needs are you seeing in the marketplace? And your ability to serve your target market to fulfill those needs is going to be your ability to expand in that space. So again, if you want more information and you want to learn how to have your business both survive and thrive at all times, really, not just during this time, I recommend, being a part of the chamber, connecting with them. You can go to the website, all the information. They are the leading resource essential for business growth here in Central Delaware. So just want to share that with you guys. I'll definitely open it up if anybody has any questions they may want to ask, and I'll help support you through that round. You have to mute yourself if you have questions.
I have a question, Evans. How did you roll out the changes that you had to make with your clients that you were going remote? How did you communicate that? Like, how did you roll that out to them?
So when we looked and saw that we didn't have an option, we had two options. We had either close and not be able to provide services at all, which, could be detrimental to the company long term, or go remote. We decided, okay, what does remote look like? I actually played around with remote, honestly, about a year and a half ago, but I didn't have the capacity from a staffing perspective to handle it. We were low on staff, and I had some clients who are long distance, and they're like, oh, could you train me? We had some clients who were like, hey, could you train me when you go on vacation? I could just use my iPad and things like that. So we knew it existed, but we wanted to first look at what were our values and what was important to us. And we knew that the way we deliver value was not through doing my senior fit go lives, like when my team's working out. If you follow that, that may not be what you're supposed to do. So that doesn't really deliver value. So what we did was I did a Facebook Live in our private page, as well as we sent out a notice to all our clients and said, hey, due to the current conditions, this is what it's going to be. And we realized that a lot of people appreciated being led through the process versus allowing, anxiety to come up. So I would say about 80+% of the people, because we were on the front end, we just told them, this is the way we're going to support you. And the fact that you're not in our facility doesn't mean that we can't help you. And we're not going to do these cookie cutter, hey, Zumba at 2 or group fitness class at this, and everybody plugs in. We're still going to give you that one-on-one attention. They appreciated that. And then for the people who are not the early adopters, we just continue to communicate with them. How are you doing with your goals? Are you doing anything right now? Where are you? What is the hiccup? We start realizing, I don't have technology like that. And then boom, that's when we knew that the need would be, we need to get them something to support them. Or a lot of times we're doing a session and we're like, all right, we need to see your legs. And we see the ceiling. We're like, why can't they do that? And we played around with it internally. We realized the angle that your pad or your phone will need to be on to stay up doesn't support us seeing you. And that's why we said we need the tripod. So that's how we kind of rolled it out and thought about, as new things. And we're still asking 3 questions. We're still asking the question, how was the intensity of your session? How was your session? What could we do to give you that wow experience? Because we didn't want it to be like, oh, it's good for at home. We want it to be the same value that you're paying for. So what could we do to provide that value? And then, once we're hitting that, we're asking the question is, you know, can you share your experience? You know, so those were like, that's the things that we used to be able to roll out the remote.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?